So my parents are Tom and Kim Martin. They both have had obviously pretty big impacts on my life and basically helped me become who I am. It's interesting because I think both my parents have very different strengths. My mom is really good at like planning for stuff and like saving for things. And so she would think about stuff like way in advance. Like I started skiing when I was like in sixth grade, where they just took a week of winter vacation and they just moved it to February just so we'd have another month with a week off or whatever. But when she saw that, she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna take Tanner and Spencer skiing." And so for like 6 months, she like planned that out. She like found skis for us to use and like stuff. And that's how my mom made us feel important because all the stuff that we did with her, she was very thought out like that. Like, but yeah, skiing with my mom was really bonding. Like it was weird because before that, like, I mean, my mom loved me and we'd goof around and stuff, but we didn't really have a lot of stuff that was like in common for us. But skiing was that first thing that became a bonding experience for us, and she made it an event, you know? And I mean, as soon as she found out that I really liked it, like she would set up times like on a Friday, she'd check me out of school early and we head up to the mountain and we do like night skiing at Brighton. She was a pretty cool lady, you know. She found this band she really liked called All American Rejects that I mean, I don't know, when you're growing up you just listen to what your parents listen to, right? But I really like them. I still listen to them. I can't remember why this happened, but we had gone to Wendy's before we were heading up to the mountain, and Spencer got like a kid's meal, I think, and it came with this tiny guitar, like a baby toy guitar. And my mom, when this guitar solo came on for All American Rejects, she just picked up that little baby guitar and was going crazy. And it was so funny, but so embarrassing at the same time. Like, I'm like, Mom, this is hilarious, but people are watching us. And I couldn't, I couldn't help it because I couldn't even tell her why I needed her to stop because I was laughing so hard. And it was just a dumb thing, and then she just that's what we would do from then on is, like, we'd always put on that album on the way up to skiing and on the way home, and she always sacrificed so that we could do that together. Because skiing is obviously not, like, inexpensive or anything, but she would find, like, all kinds of stuff, like, they had this thing where if you bought these candies, they're called, like, sweet nut rolls or something, like, you would get, like if you brought 3 of them up, you would get like 50% off the pass or something, or she'd find stuff for me and Spence because we were in school, you know, or just anything like that. And we would go skiing. It was also important for her that I was like confident in who I was. And she helped me like see things in myself that like was like, hey, like this thing about you, I'm not just saying this because I'm your mom. Like you actually really have this quality that I really respect and I really like. Being kind was really big and she really appreciated that. So when I was really little and we lived in Currents, um, I got chicken pox. And when I got these chicken pox, I was really sick. And my mom picked up a part-time job so that we could have cable so that when I was home, I could have like cartoons and stuff to watch. Like she just went and did that, you know, because she loved me. One of my all-time favorite memories with my mom is she took me to this place when I was really little. It was like I had like a mini golf course and like an arcade and stuff like that. And she just took me there and we got in these little tanks that shot like foam balls and stuff. And we were just shooting at tanks. And like, there was no, it wasn't like my birthday or anything. Like, I remember it was just like my dad was at work and I had gotten home from kindergarten. And mom's like, hey, let's go do this fun thing. And she, I don't know, she sacrificed a lot so that we could have fun together. I think that's something that my mom, like when I talked about, especially her parents and sacrifice, like my mom is well acquainted with sacrifice and she's willing to do it for me, for Spencer, for my dad. Like she's done it a lot for all of us. And she's an awesome lady. Mom, I love you because you help me love me and you help me know that I had value as a person and you help me have confidence. I had a hard time making friends in like third and fourth grade and fifth grade and stuff. Not a hard time making friends, but a hard time making good friends that were nice kids. And my mom was always worried about me getting bullied. And so she would always check up on that. And she just was so involved with the social part of my life. She knew all my friends and everything. And Mom, I just love you for taking such an interest in me. And not just like because I represent you, but because you love me and you wanted me to have a good life. My dad and I are like almost the same person. Like it's kind of a bad thing because sometimes we'll be in places where we shouldn't be laughing. We're like, oh, we both had the same thought pop into our mind and in terrible places. The prime example I cannot share because we are sworn to secrecy, but they know what I'm talking about, and they know why we can never buy gummies ever again from Washington, D.C. A really good example of it is just like when I became an elder, like especially when I got home from my mission and I'd go to church with my dad, like in elders quorum, we'd sit in the back together and just just say stupid stuff. But my dad, it's funny because like my mom, she showed us she loved us because she would plan and do all this stuff in advance. But my dad, it was like the polar opposite. But he loved us so much that he would just like make something up on the go. Like I remember my mom was out of town for something and my little brother was asleep and I was like in fourth grade. And my dad was like, hey, like, it was like 8:30. Like I thought I was gonna have to go to bed soon. And he was like, why don't we, let's go to the store. Let's go to Walmart. We'll buy some brownies. We'll come home and we'll make brownies and we'll watch Jurassic Park. And I was like, it's like 8:30. He's like, yeah. So it's like Friday. Like we don't have anything going on tomorrow. And so we would go to the store like late at night and we'd come home, make a treat and watch this movie or show or whatever. But he was always down to do stuff like that. And anytime he was going anywhere, like even like since I was like 10, he would always invite me if I was home. And I always loved that. Like he just always wanted to spend time with me. Like if he's going to the store, he'd be like, hey, I'm going to the store. You want to come? I'm sure. And it was always fun. And I really love my dad because he would always joke with me and he was really interested in introducing me to things that he liked. And I really liked those things. My dad probably read like 30 or 40 books to me, like growing up. Like every night he would read a little bit to me. And I developed a really strong love of reading for that. I've probably read like 300 or 400 books in my life. Like English was never a hard subject for me because my dad was an English teacher, but he also like we read all the time, and so I just knew how sentences worked and things like that. But he was really, really good at introducing me to stuff like that. Like I remember when I turned 12, my dad was like, oh, like what would Tanner like? He's 12. Like, what did I like when I was 12? And he was like, oh, there's this really cool video game I played, but that didn't come out when I was 12. He's like, I bet Tanner would like that. So he would just buy me like it was crazy because he knew I liked video games, but then he was like, these are the video games I liked when I was growing up. Maybe he'll like these ones. And he just like StarCraft. That was like one of my first big games ever. And my dad was super into it and we would play it together all the time. And also, I hated this, but my dad was right about stuff all the time. And like, not like about, like, there's stuff that he's right about that I was like, yeah, sure, like, you can be right about that. Like, things that, like, why the sun's yellow or whatever, like scientific stuff. But he would be right about stuff like, "Hey Tanner, I want you to sign up for this and you'll like it." And I'd be like, "No, that sounds stupid. I don't want to do that." He'd be like, "Come on, just try it once." And I'd be like, "Oh, fine." And I'd try it and I would absolutely love it. Like my dad did debate and he was like, "Tanner, you gotta sign up for debate." Like Alta had like a pretty good team when I was around and they were good coaches. I think you'd be good at it. I think you'd really like it. And so I did. And I loved it. That's something both my parents did is they were really good at encouraging me to do stuff like that. Like even if I didn't end up doing it, like they both always wanted me to run for like student body or whatever class president or whatever that stuff was. But I was always too nervous. And my parents were like, "We think you could win. We think you'd be good at it." And I think, they were right, but they never, like, it's not ever something they rub in my face, right? Like I just didn't do it. So like, okay. But my dad always encouraged me in things like that. And I don't know, he was really good at it. My dad, like my mom, also very familiar with hard work and sacrifice. My dad used to own a company. He had two partners, and it was a pretty successful company. And then the economy went bad. We had that recession in like 2006, and he had to step back from that. And he went from like being the owner of a company to working at like the Salt Lake City airport, working a swing shift. And he would work from like 3 a.m. to like 2 or 3 p.m. Then he'd like come home, go to bed, and he'd go back at it. My dad always worked during those times when he didn't have like a good job. Like he always sacrificed. Like I know he hated that job. I know he didn't get paid well enough to do that job, but he did it because, loved me and my mom and was doing everything he could. And I really respect both my parents for not shying when it came to making sacrifices for us. Like seriously, zero hesitation. Like it wasn't even a second thought. Like, oh, like I don't have this job. I'm gonna work this crappy job, so at least we have something while I'm looking. I just know that his dad would be proud of who he is because my dad's a good man and my dad works hard and he does things for his family. He takes care of his mom. There's things that in this life that everyone can do. We can all, to some degree or another, be respectful of our parents. We can all, to one degree or another, like love each other. But my dad, like anything that was in his power in this life to take care of another person, he did that. Dad, I love you. Um, You've been my best friend, basically, most consistently throughout this life. I've enjoyed all the stuff we've done together, all the camping, the shooting, the games, the movies. I have a lot of positive memories of going to Walmart at like 1 in the morning because we need to get something for a family dinner because you wanted brownies or whatever. But I love you, Dad, and thanks for taking the time out of your life to show me what you love and trying to find things that you think that I would really enjoy that is really added to my life. And I have a lot of stuff I like because of it. And I love you. Oh, look, it's my mama.
Hey Tanner, it's me, Kim Martin, your mom. Just want you to know how much I love you. You're one of the most.
Sorry, I gotta pause that. She does that every time. If you call her anything, she knows it's me. She knows it's her son. She sees it on the phone. But she always goes, "Hi, this is Kim Martin." I don't know. She's done that my whole life. Especially, I think even on my mission, like when I would call home, I vaguely remember a couple times her answering it like that. And I'm like, I haven't talked to you in like 6 months. Can we stop with the bit? All right, we can go.
Kind, loving people I've ever met. And I'm grateful for the example that you have set for all of us in the way you choose to love others. My favorite memories include mostly probably a lot of the ski trips that we had, All American Rejects, singing up the canyon, the one-on-one time on the ski lifts with you. I just really have some great memories there, and just appreciate the good brother you've been to Spence, and just who you are. Love you. Slide to the.
Hey Tanner, love you, bud. I've always loved the way that you were always up to go doing something and up for any little adventure, whether it was going to the park or going swimming or no matter what it was, you were just ready to go and happy to go. And even if it wasn't necessarily a fun thing, even if it was a service project or going to help somebody with move or going on a scout trip, you were always kind of excited to go. And that's one of the things I really enjoyed the last 30 years was Saturday mornings especially were kind of like our time to go, and whether it was going to the park or going to the swimming pool or just go do something. I really enjoyed over the last 30 years sharing things with you that I enjoyed. You and I seem to have very similar interests, and it was fun to share things with you that I liked, whether it was Star Wars movies back in the 90s, or it was the Harry Potter books, or the Garian books, or David Eddings. And then as you got older, then you were sharing things with me that you came across, and then you introduced me to Monster International and Larry Correa's books, and it was fun to have you be the one that was kind of sharing your movies, your books, your stories, your music with me. Really enjoyed reading books to you when you were really little, and it was fun to see you reading them on your own and going back and reading the ones that I'd read to you. Harry Potter started out pretty innocent, but it got a little darker as we went into the books, and so you were still pretty young, like 8-ish, and some of the stuff in there was a little too adult, I thought. So I started editing some things as we went, just kind of on the fly, and I still remember you coming out of your bedroom and you were just astonished when you reread one of the Harry Potter books, and you're like, he cut off his hand? You were just, you were shocked and amazed, and also like you figured out that I had been changing some things or leaving some stuff out. So that was funny. So anyway, I just love your creativity and your disposition and your friendliness and your imagination. And it's just always been fun to have you in our lives. From when you're a cute little baby to when you're a little guy playing with Star Wars toys in the bathtub, to when you're in high school playing with Star Wars toys in the bathtub. So I love you, Tanner, and just I've always loved you, and will always love you, and we'll see you soon. Love you, buddy. Bye-bye.